So I have some leftover tej, and I wanted to make ice cream out of it. And I wanted to play around with a little bit of a less formal setup for a video. Am I recording? So clearly this is an experiment. My idea is that basically the more formal videos will be for when I'm showcasing recipes that are just bluntly not my own. All of the Ethiopian recipes you saw me making, all the upcoming videos that you're going to see me talking about the history of the food and making a meal, that's always going to be recipes that are not my own, and I'm standing on the shoulders of people way more intelligent than me, people who are more involved in the culture, whereas this is kind of me just, here's all of the tej that I have left from that massive batch that I made. Okay, my audio is garbage, so I'm just gonna voice over this. The first thing I'm doing is reducing the tej from 1.5 cups to 3/4 of a cup to 1, concentrate all of those tejy flavors, and 2, cook out the alcohol, which inhibits freezing. Then I'm gonna make a caramel. I'm going to add 200 grams, about 1 cup of sugar, just right in there. And then 60 milliliters, about a 1/4 cup of water. Now when you make caramel like this, you don't want to stir. Stirring will make sugar form crystals, making your caramel seize up. Instead, you can gently swirl the pan and use a pastry brush and water to carefully melt any solidified sugar on the sides of the pan back into the molten sugar. Once I get the color I want, I add in some of my reduced tej, cream, and butter to make this into a sauce. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. I don't smell a ton of the tej. I wasn't necessarily counting on it. This was definitely a bit of an experiment. The way I see it is worst case scenario, there's a hint of a hint. LaCroix flavoring of tej in the caramel, if you will. Which I'd be okay with. I would actually 1000% be alright with. So I'm going to go ahead and add, this is a combination of milk and cream. Looking at my notes, I have 480 milliliters of heavy cream, so about 2 cups, and 180 milliliters of milk, which is about 3/4 of a cup. To that, I'm also going to add, I have it all in one bowl, my sugar and my honey, which is about 100 grams of sugar, 1/2 cup, and then 60 milliliters of honey, which is about a 1/4 cup. I also very stupidly added my vanilla, which you don't want to do at this stage because it is a little heat sensitive, but listen, we're here, mistakes were made, it's okay. Caramel sauce is cooling, and now we're making the ice cream base. I'm essentially heating my dairy and sugar mixture to the barest of simmers before tempering some egg yolks with it, which just means slowly streaming in some hot liquid into the eggs while whisking so we don't get scrambled eggs. At that point, the eggs are added to the pot along with my reduced tej, heated just a little to just simmering again, and then it's ready to make ice cream. Okay. So, I was a little worried. I didn't think I would be able to taste the gesho. I'm interested to see how that holds up as we churn it. Thought those flavor molecules would break down. That's really cool. I'm happy. I'm gonna go start making this into ice cream. My machine is fancy and will only take an hour to make this into ice cream, but any ice cream machine will work. I swirled the caramel in between layers of cream and then popped it into the freezer for a few hours after it's done to let it finish setting up.
It's good.
Wow. I think it's herby, that savory note almost at the beginning is that gesho flavor. And then it is then honey caramel, and then it turns into that light bitter.
Yeah. It's almost like a hoppy bitter.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's really good. I wasn't necessarily anticipating sharing this recipe. My thought process here was to just try making a ice cream and see what happens. And if it turns out good, great, there's a recipe to share. And if not, it's a funny video about me failing to make a fancy ice cream. Things that I would change, I think I would, for the amount of tej that I had left over, I would have just reduced that down to 1/2 cup and used all of that in the ice cream base as opposed to reducing it down to 3¼ cup, putting 1/4 cup in caramel, and then 1/2 cup in ice cream. I think it would have made for a much more intense flavor. Other thing I would have done is I maybe would have waited. God, can you I would have maybe waited to swirl in the caramel. I struggled to get ice cream out of that machine quickly every single time. So I should have known better. I think that's part of the reason why the caramel did just melt it. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with this ice cream. Yeah.